He's the son of Hollywood legend Kirk Douglas, who's also become a Hollywood legend himself. Obviously, I'm talking about Michael Douglas. He's been in so many great movies, but which ones are his best? Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Carl. Today's video is called Hollywood Star Specials. This is a series I started a few years back where I talk about some of Hollywood's biggest stars and what are their 10 top movies. Today we will be focusing on the great Michael Douglas. What 10 movies are his best? He's got 66 credits as an actor, which isn't bad, but to be honest, for someone like Michael Douglas, I actually thought that would be a lot more. He's produced 31 times. Wow, that is quite a lot. And he's also directed on an episode for a TV series that I used to watch back in the 1970s. I'm showing me age there. Who remembers The Streets of San Francisco, where Michael Douglas starred alongside Carl Walden? Michael Douglas was born on the 25th of September 1944 in New Jersey, USA. He's 5 foot 10 inches, and as you all know, he's the elder son of Hollywood legend Kirk Douglas. In 1998, he met his future wife-to-be, Catherine Zeta-Jones, at a film festival in France. His awards for acting are endless. He's won 2 Oscars, 5 Golden Globe Awards, and the list just goes on and on. Just a little bit of fun trivia that I did actually find out. He was roommates with Danny DeVito in a $150 a month New York apartment when he first started his career back in the 1960s. So after this wonderful career in Hollywood, what are Michael Douglas's top 10 best movies? I'm going to leave out the Marvel Ant-Man movies for this because they are so good. They would feature so high up in my list. I didn't think it would be fair to include them. I purely wanted to focus on Michael Douglas and the movies he's been in without that Marvel franchise. Please do get involved in the comments. I would love to know for this video, what's your own top 3 Michael Douglas movies? Put them down in those comments. I'd love to read them and get back to you. Also, please do remember that I'm not an expert. It's just my personal opinion, just a little bit of fun. So my top 10 list doesn't necessarily mean it's the right list. It's just my personal opinion. Now, I do think you're probably going to be shocked by my top 10 list. I do have 3 honourable mentions that were very good Michael Douglas movies, but they didn't quite make my list. The first one is for The American President. The second movie is for Wall Street. And the third and final honourable mention I have, this had a brilliant soundtrack starring Billy Ocean and the cast. Can you guess it? Of course you can. It was such a great music video, Jewel of the Nile. Okay, let's begin this top 10 list, starting at number 10. Coming in at number 10, last place for me. A lot of people may disagree with me that it probably shouldn't even be in the list, but I've included it because it means something to me. It's got personal reference. Not just because of the poster. I mean, this poster was at every single bus stop where I lived back in 1994. Is that giving it away a little? It's for a movie called Disclosure, where Michael Douglas plays a happily married man, Tom Sanders, who misses out on promotion, then gets accused of sexual harassment by his ex-girlfriend, who is now his boss.
Of a woman from his past.
Wait a second, Meredith, wait a second.
Nobody has to know. Nobody gets hurt. You can't just stop.
I'm not gonna do this.
You
No!
can't stop.
No!
She said you sexually harassed her.
She harassed me.
Get back here and you finish what you started or you're dead. Do you hear me? You are dead!
Number 9, a movie where Michael Douglas stars alongside his wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Traffic, from the year 2000. The story follows the lives of 4 people that intertwine because of the drugs trade in America, each of them experiencing a personal loss and despair because of the ongoing war on drugs. Number 8, a movie from 2006, The Sentinel. Michael Douglas, he plays a disgraced Secret Service agent that strives to prove his innocence in a murder case, while also trying to prevent a possible another assassination from taking place.
The president is on the move.
In the 141-year history of the United States Secret Service,
You made time.
Ooh, I look good.
there's never been a traitor until now.
There's an agent who wants to help assassinate the president.
We need to find this guy. We put Breckenridge in charge of the whole thing. He's kind of a protege of yours. What do you think?
He'll follow the evidence wherever it leads him.
I don't believe this.
Number 7, a movie directed by David Fincher, The Game, from 1997. This one sees Michael Douglas. He plays a wealthy banker who's given the opportunity to participate in a mysterious game. But when his life is turned upside down, he begins to question whether the whole thing is a conspiracy to destroy him. Number 6, I've decided to go with The Perfect Murder from the year 1998. Michael Douglas stars alongside Gwyneth Paltrow, and Michael plays a wealthy guy that discovers his wife has a lover. He then sets out to try and commit the perfect murder and inherit a wealthy sum of money in the bargain.
I can't do this anymore. It's not right. I've got to tell him.
We've waited this long. Let's just hold off so we can figure it out together.
What do you think Stephen would do if he knew about David?
Fooling around is the second oldest reason in the world to kill somebody.
Oh, really? And what would be the first?
Money, honey.
His company's been under investigation for almost a year. Sooner or later, your husband will be wiped out.
So if you die, he gets like $100 million.
Something like that.
Number 5, halfway there, I've decided to go with a movie directed by Ridley Scott, also stars Andy Garcia alongside obviously Michael Douglas, Black Rain, from the year 1989. Michael Douglas and Andy Garcia, they play 2 New York cops that get involved in a gang war with the Japanese mafia. When they arrest one of the killers, they're ordered to escort him back to Japan, where, you've guessed it, he escapes. Number 4, I've got to include this one because this has an Indiana Jones feel. You probably guessed it already. A movie from 1984, Romancing the Stone. It's just such a good family fun watch. Number 3, back in 1992, this one made the headline news. It was everywhere. It's such a good movie. I'm going to give it away now. Michael Douglas stars alongside Sharon Stone. You've guessed it. And you know why it made the news. Basic Instinct. You all know the story for this one. Michael Douglas plays a detective, Nick Curran, who's investigating the murder of a retired rock star who was murdered with an ice pick. His prime suspect is Catherine Tremell, played by Sharon Stone, who is a very attractive novelist. Well, let's just say he gets a little bit too close.
So we got 31 stab wounds.
What was it?
Ice pick.
I'd like to speak to Miss Catherine Tremell, please.
Is she a suspect?
She's a writer. She published a novel. It's about a retired rock and roll star who gets murdered by his girlfriend.
You know how she does the boyfriend? With an ice pick.
She intended the book to be her alibi.
You didn't feel anything for him, you just had sex with him for your book.
In the beginning, he gave me a lot of pleasure.
You like playing games?
Games are fun.
What's your new book about?
A detective, he falls for the wrong woman.
What happens?
She kills him.
Number 2, a classic movie from the year 1987, Fatal Attraction. Michael Douglas plays a happily married New York lawyer who has an affair with a colleague, Alex, played by Glenn Close, who will not let him go and will not stop at anything to get him.
A look that led to an evening.
You're attracted to each other at the party. That was obvious. You're on your own for the night. That's also obvious.
A mistake he'd regret all his life.
Number 1. My best Michael Douglas movie. This movie also stars Robert Duvall, and we've probably all felt like this at some point in our lives. Back in 1993, this movie was big. I remember the advertising in my local video shop and my mum and dad renting this movie out where we'd go home and watch this. And the movie is called Falling Down. The story for this one, Michael Douglas plays this guy called D. Fens, which I think was his registration plate if I remember rightly, and he's trying to get home for his daughter's birthday. He's stuck in rush hour traffic and he just leaves his car there and decides to walk. But when things start not going his way, the guy just snaps.
Bill Foster is an ordinary man.
Where you going?
Going home.
Not this way or not.
Why not?
Metro rail construction, that's why not.
Living in the everyday world.
I don't suppose you have a couple of bucks you can give me. It would really help me out. If you give me your address, I'll mail it back on us.
A patient man.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like a ham and cheese omelet, a little lamb fries.
I'm sorry.
We stopped serving breakfast at 11:30.
Who's running out of patience.
I get some change for the phone.
A peaceful man.
No change. I have to buy something.
Who's about to be pushed.
85 cents. 85 cents.
Doesn't give me enough money for the phone call.
Drink. 85 cents. You pay or go.
A little too far.
I stay.
It was such a good movie to watch because a lot of people, like I said, probably could relate to that, where they do get stressed in their cars sitting in traffic. I know I personally do, but I certainly wouldn't go on a rampage. So my top 3 movies: Basic Instinct at number 3, number 2 is Fatal Attraction, and number 1 I've put Falling Down in that list. Please do get involved in the comments. I'd love to know for this video, what are your own top 3 Michael Douglas movies? Put them down, I'd love to read them. And that is my Hollywood Star Specials for the actor Michael Douglas. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this video, please do give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe if you can. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.